Whether you're ready or not, here we go. This is Thriving Thursday. Welcome to the show.
You're so pumped up.
When you're saying Thriving Thursday, like I don't know how you get that out of your mouth without being pumped up. Are my P words coming through too strong on my microphone? It feels like I got a lot of bass in my voice right now. You see how you lowered it?
Anyway.
I'm thriving.
Hi. This is Stephen and Lauren, or as we call it, SNL. NL.
We're back to that. We finally got through a week without going through that, and we're back. I'm Stephen. This is my wife,
Lauren.
And we are SNL. And this is Thriving Thursday. You gotta hold the pose, that way people don't know that you had to cut the scene right there.
What are we talking about this week?
Well, this week we got some questions for you, young lady. We got some questions for you, that's right. Look, we did one back on Veterans Day. If you want to go back to some of the SNL videos we've done, if you look back to the week of the 9th of November, yes. We did one on Veterans Day, and we talked about the top 5 things that you shouldn't ask or say to a combat veteran. And that was to kind of give some people that didn't really know, there is some etiquette, not just, common sense, because we're not going to assume it's common anymore. Some people just don't know. Well, because of that, we've also realized that there are about top 5 things that you shouldn't ask a spouse or of a veteran. So
or of especially of a spouse of a soldier or a military person that's deployed.
That's right.
I've had these questions before. These are real life things that people have asked.
That's right.
And some of them strangers. Sorry.
So I thought I was in control of this interview, but I guess I am wrong. I'm going to take a back seat and let the stars shine.
Oh, no.
Yeah, hey, beautiful. You going to shine. All right. So top 5 things that you shouldn't ask or say to the spouse of a service member, especially one in combat. Number 5.
So what's number 5?
Oh, I thought you were going to tell me what number 5 was.
No,
I guess I have it right here.
I have it on the list.
My bad. Look, see, this stuff ain't rehearsed. People, we don't rehearse this. We just get on here and share all the good nuggets we can. Number 5. Do you think he's going to come back messed up?
Yes. I actually had several people ask me this when my husband was deployed, and I was going to say I almost lost my religion. I wanted to smack people when they asked me this question, like, why would you even ask that? It's not okay. It's rude. It's not nice. Like, why are you asking me this question? Like, there's nothing, like, if you say no, like, no, I don't think he's going to come back messed up, or yes, like, how does that help a person? And they're, going over there, you don't know what can happen. They can have, like, physical injuries, mental injuries. We have known soldiers to pass away, to die over there. And I just don't think this is very, what's the word?
Sensitive?
It's not, yes. It's very insensitive. And it's not appropriate to ask, do you think someone's going to come back messed up? Like, that's not appropriate. That was just, I was asked that when my husband was deployed, and it just made me furious.
You see his look? No. Just don't.
So that's not an okay question to ask. If you wanted, if you're curious of how they're doing, you could say, oh, how is he doing over there? Instead of just like, do you think he's going to come back messed up? Or like, he comes back, say, how is he doing? If it's really, but if you're a stranger, why are you even asking this question? Because that's personal anyways, to ask about, if your spouse is messed up from war or not. Like, that's just not okay.
Number 4. Have you seen the news?
Yes. Okay. So some of my family and some of my friends, well-meaning, would always ask me if I've seen the news. I had to stop watching the news because, when you're at war, like, the average person is just like, oh, this is happening in Iraq or this is happening in Afghanistan or whatever, and they have no personal connection to it. But when you don't know exactly where your husband is, or if you do know, in the vicinity where he is, and you're just seeing all these things on the news about soldiers getting killed or IEDs, improvised explosive device for those who aren't military. I realize they might not know what that is. So, getting blown up or shot at or dying, and it's like, having the news bombard you with stuff, it's a lot to handle, and it's all I can do for my sanity to not watch the news all the time. Not that I never watch the news, but I didn't watch it daily because I just couldn't, because then I would be worried about, how is he doing? Is he there? Is that him? Is that his unit? Is that someone he knows? Is that someone I know? Like, it was just too much. Yeah. So, no. I did not see the news, and please don't tell me the news either. When I say, no, I didn't see the news, don't tell me, well, this happened in Mosul. Is your husband there? Like, no. It's just, it's not helpful.
Which kind of takes us
makes anxiety.
Yeah. That takes us actually into question number 3. So where is your spouse, or where is your husband?
Okay. Now, some civilian people might not know this, and maybe even some military spouses might not know this. It's not a good idea, even if you know where your spouse is, which most times you won't know exactly where they are, to give out this particular information, because you could put them in danger, because someone could get that information and then know where your husband or his unit is. So it's not something that you just give out. I didn't know the exact location, but I knew, I would just say Iraq, and people would want to know specifics, and I knew, I knew what base he was at, but I just didn't say that because, they might not know that though, but this is just to help them. That one's not like insulting or anxiety thing. It's just,
that one is a danger to service members in a combat zone. Yeah. So I'm gonna step in on that one, give you a little help on that one.
You're not supposed to do that, and
yeah,
and soldiers shouldn't be telling their spouses that, over emails or Facebook or
the biggest issue was social media, because
when they're
Facebook
coming
and
home,
MySpace were real big.
Then the enemy could know when you're coming home and your plane's coming in or what day they're leaving. That's just not. It's not a good idea to tell them, just to keep the military safe.
Yeah. All right. So y'all get it. All right. Number 2. We just led right into it again.
Oh, we did?
When is he coming home? Or when is she coming home? Talking about
again, sometimes it always
and they
changes.
wanted a date, an exact date. When
it
are they coming
always changes in the military. In the Army, one of the things they say is hurry up and wait. So sometimes it's like, oh, you're going to be coming home, and then no, you're not. And even spouses telling, I remember Steven telling me around when he was coming home, but he didn't know the exact date because the flight patterns change up and whatever to kind of protect people. And I didn't know the exact date. I don't remember knowing the exact date.
Because I didn't know the exact date.
It was kind of just like, I'll let you know, when we're at a place where I can tell you.
Yeah.
And then,
some of you may have seen on my wall, I think there's a video that Lauren sent me, a private message, not a social media message, but a private message that Lauren sent me that said, hey, I hope to see you in about a week. Like, she didn't know exactly when she was going to see me. So that's about as close as she could get, and that was a private message. But since we're 10 years since my deployment,
I felt comfortable sharing
that.
Dates and stuff like that. But it's just for safety's sake. Yeah. And but most times people might not really know anyways. But just so you know.
Yeah. For those that do know, we still can't give out that information. All right. Number 1. I heard there were soldiers killed. Have you heard from your husband or?
Yeah, again, this is just anxiety producing. It's not helpful. I think it's well-meaning. This one seems to be more well-meaning than the other ones, just because they seem like they're concerned or worried about, your husband or your wife, if they're the deployed member, because, they care about them. But it doesn't help you when you don't know, because a lot of times, sometimes I would go days, I think a few times weeks, without hearing from him. And so it's just, you're always kind of living, you try not to have that anxiety, but you're always living not knowing when you're going to hear from them again. And it's hard. It's hard to not know. And you just like, you don't want to miss their call. Like I never wanted to miss Steven's call. I would get so upset and I would cry if I missed his call. Because sometimes I was working or there wasn't good reception or something from where I was. But yeah, I think it's just, that was a hard question. I don't really think people have ill intention when they say that. I just think they want to know if they're okay. But like if you don't know yourself, then it's not helpful. And I think also a lot of these things, it's like if your husband wasn't okay or injured or, like if Steven had been injured, I probably would eventually have to tell people so they would know. So it's not like I don't think I would keep it this big secret. So I think unless you're super close to that person, don't ask. Definitely think don't ask a stranger that question. But I mean, I think definitely just tread carefully and don't ask that all the time, because that's what it is. It's the constant questions. I think people are curious or they're actually concerned, but it was really, really difficult for that time. So
let me ask this. So then the way the question is worded is, there were soldiers killed. Have you heard from your husband? So is there a different way you would think to say that so it doesn't sound like, hey, people died. Is your husband dead too? That's kind of what comes across when I hear it. I'm like, wait a minute.
That's why. I think just so have you heard from your husband? I don't know. I don't even know if there's a good way to say it. I guess just saying, so how are you doing? How's Steven doing? Like just asking how he's doing, and then I could say, oh, I haven't heard from him in a few days or something.
What helped you? What things because we're talking about the things that you shouldn't say. What are some things that helped you, or what things that you found to be encouraging, or that make you feel warm, like people actually cared?
Oh yeah, so people just told me that they like praying for our family, thinking of you. They would ask if there's anything they could do, or they would just give me a hug, just encouragement, I guess, just like hang in there. You only got 2 more months ago or something, just something like that. And a lot of military community, other spouses or just people in the military that were able to understand and kind of help me through. And then having, my family there to help me not to be lonely, I think helped. But I don't know that there's this great question to ask. I think just being present for and sincerely wanting to be a friend to somebody. And I mean, I don't think like if your best friend asks you, oh, how's Steven doing, or how are you doing, how are you holding up, is there anything I could do for you, kind of thing, would be helpful. So, and asking like have you heard any news from him? I don't think that's bad in itself, but if you ask that like every day, that's just a bit excessive, and it starts producing anxiety, like I haven't heard from him yet, oh I haven't, or oh my gosh, like what, and then the news. Yeah, definitely the news questions. So. Yeah.
All right. So, hey, we hope that this helped you out. If you know a veteran, hug them. Hug a veteran. Well, if they let you. I don't want to set you up for failure. I don't like being, strangers walking up to me trying to hug me anyway. So I'm just.
That is terrible advice. Don't listen to
that was supposed to be funny, everybody. Terrible. It was supposed to be funny. Look, no. On a serious note, if you know a veteran or a spouse of a veteran or service member,
thank them.
Yes, be sure to thank them. November is the month of the military, so.
It is?
Yeah, the military member. November is a month of the military member. We had Veterans Day already. We also have, we're being thankful for Thanksgiving last week, So, just want to make sure that you take time, thank a veteran. There's nothing wrong with saying thank you for your service, especially when you sincerely mean it. We talked about that back when we talked about the things to say to veterans. But the same thing goes for spouses, because without the spouses and the families that support those service members, it will be a whole lot more difficult, I guarantee you. It means so much to have a family, my wife, that really stepped up to encourage me, the days that it was hard for me to go to work or to get through the day or to get through a difficult task, get through my deployment. And she's sending me encouragement emails. And when we got to talk on the phone, she tried to encourage me. And that was a big deal, because it it gave me something tangible to kind of boost my confidence. I knew God was in my corner, but having my wife right there alongside of me also, encouraging me really helped me push through some really hard situations I had to deal with. So thank you.
Oh, that made me feel. Oh, no, and not crying on camera for this one, but we hope that helps.
Absolutely. So y'all have a thriving Thursday, and we look forward to seeing you again next week. Same channel. No, it's not really a channel. It's Facebook. But go to my YouTube. You'll see it on the YouTube channel. That's right. Make sure you hit the like and the share. And when you've shared this, what we're trying to do is make sure we're giving out good messages to everybody. So, you don't feel like you're obligated to share it. We want you to share it if you feel like it can help someone you know, or help the people that are in your circle of influence. All right? So y'all have a great day. Enjoy your thriving Thursday, and we look forward to seeing y'all again next week.
Bye.
Peace.